Imagine a world where the largest crypto exchange stands accused of law breaking, faces a $4 billion penalty, and its CEO goes to prison, only to bounce back just months later as regulators suddenly reverse course. Sound like fiction? It's exactly what happened in 2025, when the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission stunned the world by dropping its landmark civil lawsuit against Binance. As crypto markets surged, a new question echoed across boardrooms and basement trading dens alike. Is the war on crypto finally over, or is this just the calm before an even bigger storm? But this isn't just a victory lap for Binance or a change of heart in Washington. It's a turning point, with consequences stretching from Wall Street to distant islands in the Atlantic. To truly understand what's at stake, we need to rewind, because only then will the hidden threads connecting crypto innovation, global regulation, and the unlikely island of Bermuda become clear. Let's pull back to 2018. The world was just waking up to the promise and risk of digital assets. In the shadow of Bitcoin's then record highs, crypto was shifting from the fringe to the mainstream. Enter Changpeng Zhao, or CZ as he's known, a coder turned billionaire and the unstoppable force behind Binance, which rapidly became the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. That April, on the turquoise shores of Bermuda, a moment unfolded that would ripple through the industry. David Burt, the charismatic premier and minister of finance, signed a memorandum of understanding with Zhao. It wasn't just another handshake photo op. For Bermuda, it was a bold declaration. This tiny island, long known for reinsurance and offshore finance, hoped to become the Silicon Valley of crypto. Burt called it a vote of confidence in Bermuda and the leadership of this government. Bermuda promised a safe harbor for innovation, and Binance pledged millions in investment. There was talk of education programs, headquarters, and turning the island into a global crypto hub. Headlines blared about jobs, prosperity, and a digital gold rush. The world watched as a financial Cinderella story unfolded. Could Bermuda leapfrog into the future, or would it be swept up in the coming regulatory storms? Fast forward just a few years. Crypto's Wild West boom brought not just investment, but also risk. Regulatory crackdowns around the world put companies like Binance in the crosshairs. The U.S. SEC, led by Gary Gensler, pursued sweeping enforcement, targeting exchanges for supposedly offering unregistered securities and failing to protect investors. Binance was hit especially hard. In 2023, the SEC accused it of inflating trading volumes, diverting customer funds, and facilitating trading in tokens the agency believed should be regulated as securities. Things soon escalated. By November 2023, Binance paid a jaw-dropping $4.32 billion criminal penalty for violating anti-money laundering laws. CZ himself pleaded guilty, spending 4 tense months in prison. For a moment, it seemed like the end. Could Binance survive this onslaught, or would its empire crumble? But then, political winds shifted. By 2024, Donald Trump swept back into the White House. Gone was Gensler. In his place, Paul Atkins, a seasoned regulator with a very different view. Atkins asserted, "Crypto needs clear rules of the road, not regulation by enforcement, signaling an era of collaboration, not conflict." Almost overnight, the SEC's posture changed. In February, the agency dropped a parallel case against Coinbase, the largest U.S. crypto exchange. And then, in May 2025, the bombshell, the SEC would voluntarily dismiss its civil suit against Binance, with prejudice. This meant the case could never be resurrected. The crypto world rejoiced. A Binance spokesperson called it a landmark moment and thanked the administration for understanding that innovation can't thrive under constant threat. Institutional money began pouring back into the market. Bitcoin prices stabilized. For many, it felt like vindication, a long-awaited acknowledgement that crypto belonged in the mainstream. But was this truly the dawn of a new era or a risky bet with unseen implications? Underneath the celebrations, deeper layers of uncertainty simmered. For one, Binance isn't out of the woods globally. In Nigeria, it faces a staggering $81.5 billion lawsuit for alleged economic damages. It's entangled in disputes with tax authorities across multiple countries. And, while its compliance team now boasts over 650 members and it's secured 21 regulatory approvals worldwide, the ghosts of the past linger. Is Binance on its way to becoming a model corporate citizen, or just shifting its risks to new frontiers? And then, there's Bermuda. That 2018 vision, a digital island utopia powered by Binance's dollars, never quite materialized as planned. Instead, Bermuda's government has navigated a tricky tightrope. balancing openness to innovation with the need to avoid reputational damage. After all, inviting the crypto world's biggest player is a gamble. The initial confidence was contagious, but as enforcement storms brewed across the Atlantic, doubts crept into boardrooms and parliament halls. The latest U.S. regulatory U-turn raises yet another question. Does this rekindle Bermuda's dream or invite new dangers? If Binance is off the hook in the U.S., will it double down on its partnerships with small, agile jurisdictions like Bermuda? Or will it focus on licking its wounds and rebuilding trust elsewhere? For Bermuda, the prospect of hosting a global crypto hub remains tantalizing, but fraught. Can the island balance innovation and integrity in a market still haunted by past scandals? Meanwhile, globally, the crypto world waits with bated breath. Some see the SEC's retreat as an overdue pivot, proof that regulators are finally ready to partner with innovators rather than shut them down. Others warn it could revive the speculative, casino-like behavior that regulators sought to contain. Will clearer rules and an open dialogue unleash the next wave of responsible fintech, or merely set the stage for a fresh generation of excess? Let's not forget the scale of what's at stake. Cryptocurrencies have gone from niche experiment to financial phenomenon, with a total market cap once rivaling major stock markets. They promise to democratize finance, cut out intermediaries, and empower billions. But they also enable money laundering, fraud, and breathtaking volatility. The SEC's decision doesn't erase this duality, it simply shifts the arena. And what about Binance itself? Freed from the specter of U.S. civil enforcement, it faces a crossroads. Does it seize this moment to lead a new era of transparency and global standards, or does it lean into regulatory arbitrage, hopping from friendly jurisdiction to friendly jurisdiction? The answer may determine not only its own fate, but the trajectory of crypto innovation worldwide. Paul Atkins, the new SEC chair, summed up the cautious optimism swirling in markets. We're not giving crypto a blank check, just a chance to prove itself. The world is watching. But will Binance, and the industry as a whole, rise to the challenge? Or will old habits and unresolved legal battles drag them back into crisis? As Bermuda weighs its next move and the world awaits Binance's strategy, one question looms large. Has the crypto industry truly turned a corner, or is this simply the eye of the storm? The future hinges on what happens next, in courtrooms, boardrooms, and perhaps on the shores of one small, ambitious island. Now that the dust has started to settle on Binance's legal drama with the US SEC, the crypto world finds itself at a crossroads. It's not just about victory or defeat in a courtroom, it's about the future shape of digital finance, regulatory power, and the ambitions of both Binance and small, agile hubs like Bermuda. Let's explore what lies ahead in this high-stakes game, because the next moves won't just rewrite Binance's story. They could redefine the entire cryptocurrency landscape. The first thing everyone's asking, does the SEC's dramatic about-face actually mean Binance and the whole crypto sector has a green light? Or is this just a temporary pause while deeper global currents shape what's next? The answer, as always with crypto, isn't simple. Behind the headlines, new risks, fresh opportunities, and unforeseen consequences are rippling out across the globe. Let's map out what could happen next, outlining the possible scenarios, the surprising threats, and the bold opportunities that are emerging. Because in the world of digital money, nothing is ever static. Imagine scenario 1, the dawn of real regulatory clarity. With Paul Atkins at the helm of the SEC and the Biden-era crackdown in the rearview mirror, the U.S. is setting a new tone. Atkins has been crystal clear. Innovation needs clear rules, not shifting goalposts. Under this regime, crypto companies finally know where they stand. The SEC's shift has already begun attracting institutional heavyweights, pension funds, banks, trading giants, back into the market. Since the crackdown eased, institutional investment is up and volatility down. This could be the beginning of crypto's next golden age, with Binance and Bermuda at the vanguard. For Binance, a world with clearer regulations means a lot less time fighting lawsuits and a lot more time building real products. Less money set aside for legal defense, more for new tech, partnerships, and expansion. Bermuda, having played the long game with its early MOU, could finally see the benefits as Binance ramps up investment in local projects and talent. Premier David Bert's words, a vote of confidence, might echo as Bermuda becomes the prototype for small nations leveraging crypto to punch above their weight. But that's the optimistic path. Let's flip the coin, because if there's one thing crypto's history teaches us, it's that trouble never waits long. In Scenario 2, despite the SEC's olive branch, Binance continues to battle legal fires overseas. Right now, the colossal $81.5 billion lawsuit in Nigeria looms large. Nigerian authorities allege economic sabotage and tax evasion. These are not trivial matters. Even as Binance cooperates, the outcome is far from certain. And Nigeria isn't alone. Other governments, emboldened or seeking a share of crypto's spoils, may follow suit. This patchwork of global legal risks could leave Binance stretched thin. Instead of one regulator calling the shots, Binance could face a labyrinth of conflicting expectations. What's legal in Bermuda could be illegal in Brazil or frowned upon in the EU. The risk? Binance becomes a 21st century Marco Polo, forever traveling between friendly harbors, but never secure. For users, this could mean sudden changes, region locks, delisting of tokens, or even frozen funds as legal cases ripple through the exchange's international web. Scenario 3 lands somewhere between opportunity and risk. Shut out of old markets, Binance could double down on strategic partnerships in places eager for crypto innovation. That's where Bermuda shines. Its nimble regulatory framework, openness to tech, and early bet on Binance offer a rare competitive advantage. Here, Binance could build sandboxes for new products, test decentralized finance tools, and partner with local fintechs. Yet, the flip side cannot be ignored. Emerging markets are also more volatile, both politically and legally. A shift in leadership, a new law, or public backlash in even a small country could instantly upend plans. What if, despite everything, the unresolved issues we've seen before, money laundering, consumer protection gaps, and manipulation, aren't truly fixed? The SEC's withdrawal doesn't erase the billion-dollar fines, nor does it let Binance off the hook in the eyes of skeptical observers. Some industry experts warn that if Binance or its competitors see these legal victories as a blank check rather than a wake-up call, we could see the same old risks snowball into the next major crisis. A single hack, fraud scandal, or regulatory misstep could still ignite panic across the industry. Crypto is only as strong as its weakest link, warns an unnamed compliance director from a major U.S. trading firm. If Binance stumbles, the shockwaves will be global. So where does this leave everyday crypto users, investors, and observers? What practical lessons can we draw from this regulatory sea change? First, understand that the rules of the game are changing, but the game itself is far from over. Whether you're a trader, developer, or just crypto curious, the SEC's reversal doesn't guarantee safety or success. It means you need to be more vigilant, not less. Watch for regulatory signals, not just from the US, but from major markets worldwide. Binance's fate now depends as much on what happens in Abuja, London, Singapore, or Brussels as it does on Washington or Bermuda. If you've got assets on an exchange, spread your risk. Don't assume one venue is immune to legal shocks. Consider cold storage, diversify between providers, and stay alert for sudden changes in service due to shifting legal winds. Second, demand transparency and accountability from your chosen platforms. The compliance revolution sweeping Binance, over 650 staff and 21 global approvals, shows that legal scrutiny drives meaningful change. But don't simply take their word for it. Look for regular proof of reserves, third-party audits, and clear terms of service. Remember the lesson of 2022's exchange failures. Trust, but verify. Third, appreciate the strategic importance of small, agile jurisdictions like Bermuda. These crypto islands can be crucibles of innovation, but they're also test beds for regulation and risk. If you're a startup or investor, consider the benefits of operating in or with such environments, but don't ignore the heightened reputational and legal scrutiny that comes with being a crypto pioneer. Early partnerships can pay off, but they often attract the world's attention, sometimes good, sometimes not. For those working in crypto policy or advocacy, now is the moment to engage with lawmakers. The SEC's pivot under Atkins is a reminder that regulatory clarity is a moving target, shaped as much by politics as by law or technology. Get involved, make your voice heard, and push for common-sense rules that protect users without stifling innovation. Remember, the future of crypto isn't just written by regulators and CEOs, but by everyone who participates in the ecosystem. So how will all of this play out? Will Binance, emboldened by regulatory relief, and Bermuda, proud of its early bet, lead the charge into a new era of responsible crypto innovation? Or will the dark side of the industry, fragmented rules, legal battles, and old habits, trigger the next domino to fall? Here's the honest answer. No single court ruling or regulatory shift can decide the fate of a trillion-dollar global industry overnight. The SEC's retreat has cracked open a door, but it's up to Binance, Bermuda, and the broader crypto community to walk through it responsibly. If Binance leverages this opportunity to build trust, cooperate globally, and set standards for transparency and compliance, it could shake off its Wild West reputation and anchor itself firmly in the mainstream financial system. Bermuda, for its part, could become the world's microcosm of successful, pro-innovation finance, attracting not just exchanges but fintechs, VCs, and tech talent. But if covert practices, compliance shortcuts, or regulatory arbitrage re-emerge, both Binance and its allies could find themselves at the center of the next big scandal, and this time, the market may not be so forgiving. Here's a secret fact the headlines rarely mention. While regulatory victories make news, Binance's real test is happening quietly, every day, in its compliance war room. Each time a suspicious transaction is flagged, an internal process is tightened, or a customer is protected from fraud, Binance is either moving closer to legitimacy or setting up the next big crisis. The SEC's decision is just the beginning. The real verdict will be written by code, by compliance, and most of all, by community trust. So, what comes next? That's up to all of us. Stay vigilant, stay informed. If you want to see responsible innovation win, don't just be a bystander. Be a builder, a watchdog, or an advocate. The story of Binance and Bermuda's crypto partnership is still being written, and your decisions will help turn the page. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is this the start of a bright new chapter for crypto, or just an intermission before the next big drama? And if you want more deep dives and secret facts,